Okay, good. So we've got yoga this morning. We said we're going to do hips, lower back, and you guys are all good and everybody looks settled. So I'm going to hit you all on mute. Mute. Mute all. Okay. Mute all. All right. Thumbs up. Y'all can still hear me? Yes. Good. Okay. Alrighty. All right. So we were talking about, it's a lot of outdoor activities we've been doing, a lot of gardening for us gardeners, maybe some people hiking, walking, whatever it is that we can do outside, moving around and kind of work on opening up our hips a little and releasing our lower back today. So let's sit on into our mats, close our eyes, and just kind of find where we are right now this morning. So however you want to sit, if you have a block or a book, sometimes if your lower back is cranky, using that block underneath your hips is something that might help relieve some of that tension. And just check in where your mind is this morning. If it's running a million directions and a to-do list, or maybe something that should have been done yesterday or the day before. And just bring yourself to right here. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open up your mouth, just push it out, exhale. Again, big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. And now see where you can let go of any tension that you're holding on to. That doesn't necessarily need to right now. Anything in your face, your shoulders, your jaw, your hands, maybe even your toes. Continue to relax your shoulders down away from your ears, while at the same time pressing your sitting bones down on into the mat or into your block. You can even use a towel or a cushion. Crown of your head lifting on up to the ceiling. Belly pulls in. Continue to drop those shoulders down and back. Ella's going to join us this morning. Gently open your eyes, bring your arms down by your sides. On your inhale, lift your arms on up. Exhale down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale down. One more big breath in. Exhale down. Take that left hand, bring it over to your right knee. If you're on that block, you can go ahead and get yourself up off the block. And we're just going to take a spinal twist here, tucking that right arm right behind your tailbone. Really pull your belly in, especially if you're having issues with your lower back. Hug your belly in towards your spine. And twist. Drop those shoulders down. So this is just a gentle twist here. Nothing really like pushing ourselves into anything. Just be kind to your body. know I, for one, am a person who likes to like really push myself and challenge myself. But sometimes it's okay to back off and take it easy. So maybe let's see if we can carry that intention with us through practice of just listening to our body and trying easy. Pull that belly in. Inhale, come forward. Right arm reaches across. And take a curl with your spine here. So if you want to stay in stillness and maybe just give a little tug with the elbows in opposite direction, that's one option. Or you can even rock a little bit on your sitting bones. Feel that space being created there between your shoulder blades. And maybe as you rock, maybe even a little bit on your side. Take that full breath in like we did earlier, in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Really notice how that breath, when you bring in those big deep breaths, it expands the muscles in your back, in your body, in your chest. Inhale, sit up nice tall, right arm stays beat, belly pulls in, left arm reaches around, tucks right behind that tailbone, shoulders drop down and back. Really feel your breath. Breath expanding your ribs, your chest. Maybe twisting a little deeper, but again, just listening to your body. And as that belly pulls in, come around, inhale, cross your left arm on over, and curl up again. So maybe looking at a perspective right now of seeing what you can find different here. Just exploring all the nooks and crannies in your body. Just soften your face. Really feel what you're feeling in your back, shoulder blades. Inhale, come on up. Maybe let's just take a couple shoulder shrugs this morning too. Bringing your shoulders on up and down, nice and slow, really feeling every movement. Let's rock right on into table. Give yourself a minute to get there. So in table, always stacking our joints, our shoulders, our elbows, our wrists, hips over knees. And the tops of our feet are flat on the floor. Hips are, knees are about hips width apart. Fingers spread wide. And let's inhale, lift on up, open up our chest. Exhale, curl your spine. Inhale, lift up. Really going nice and slow, taking your time. So the next several minutes here, there's really nowhere to go, nothing to do, but just to be here with your body, your breath. Again, putting any thoughts aside. Full breaths in and out. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift on up. Exhale, curl. Come on to neutral spine. Bring your knees all the way together, and we're going to take child's pose with our knees together. So just drop your bum right back to your heels, and then stretch your arms right in front of you. You should feel right at your lower back a little release. If you want to put your hand there even. Massage your forehead on your mat, maybe just rolling it side to side, nice and slow. Bring your head to stillness. Bring your arms behind you with your palms face up, and let your shoulders just roll forward and melt towards the mat. Opening up a little bit more space in their middle backs. And really let yourself melt. Let that chest fall to your knees. We're not efforting anything at all here. Maybe your hips can drop a little bit more towards your heels. Bring your arms on forward. Press yourself on up. And then bring our knees wide. Big toes come together to touch. And now we're going to sit back into child's pose this way. Notice what you feel differently. So just drop your bum back to your heels. Arms come on wide, chest sinks to the mat. And this one here, you should be feeling more in your hips. Draw your fingers really wide to the outside edges of your mat. Maybe your pinkies even come off the mat. We'll open up your chest. And then drop your shoulders down. Melt that chest even more down towards the mat. Sink your hips. Big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. I mean, even Ella's over here moaning. This is good. All right, come on up, back into table. You can bring your knees together but slightly apart. We're going to take thread the needles. So however you want to set yourself up for that. Take your left hand, press your left hand into the floor, fingers wide. Right arm reaches on up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your right arm right on through under the left. Drop onto that right shoulder. Left hand presses on into the mat. Just stay here for a moment. I know all of you know how to advance and move on, but just stay right here. No rushing. And now if you're ready, you can go ahead and kick that left leg out behind you like a little kickstand. Rolling on over onto your right shoulder. And if at any point any of this gets too much, just go back to the beginning. Maybe take that left arm on up to the ceiling. You can make some circles with your wrists, circles with your shoulder.
Looks like all of our people are on Zoom are waving to each other. That looks fantastic. All right, you can tuck that left arm behind you, maybe take a bind. See if you can reach on into your thigh on the right-hand side. Is an option. Maybe your chest spins on up towards the ceiling. You relax more into that right shoulder. Inhale, bring that left arm around, press it on in, bring your leg out if it's out. Come on, back into table. And then go ahead, sit back into child's pose either way with your legs together to release the lower back or apart for your hips, whichever one you think your body needs right now. On your next inhale, lift that up and set yourself back on for thread the needle on the other side. So maybe a little separation between your legs. Right hand presses into the mat, left arm reaches on up, big breath in. Exhale, bring it on through underneath your right arm. Rest on that right shoulder. So again, really be with what you're feeling right now, not rushing to advance. Maybe kick out that right leg. And again, just because you did something on one side doesn't mean that you need to necessarily do it on this side. It's what your body's feeling right now. Maybe the right arm comes on up. Maybe taking a bind. Inhale, start to untuck yourself, bring your arm around, your leg in. Press yourself back on up into table. And then one more child's pose in between here. Inhale, lift back up into child. We're going to scoot ourselves onto our bums. And I'll face you this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some kind of, we talked about hip openers, so a figure four. This one's kind of fun. If we can, we're going to take that right leg and maybe hook it into the crook of our left arm and just cradle our leg. So if you can straighten that left leg, if you need to have your left leg bent, if you want to maybe it's even just using your leg to hold it. There's all kinds of options here. But if you can get it right on in there, you're looking pretty good. So you should feel that right hip, the IT band, and maybe here kind of just taking some swaying. Everybody's moving, and that feels so good. Kind of like rocking your little baby over here of your hip and leg. So good. And if you find a spot you're like, oh, that feels good right there, just stop. If like there's a little, you can feel that tension maybe, and just resting into that spot, just taking a few breaths while you're there and see if you're holding tension anywhere else.
Keep that right foot flexed to protect your knee in doing this. There's a lot of happy faces out there. I think this is good. All right, go ahead, bring that leg on down. And we can maybe stretch our legs long in between here. Let's bring our arms up, deep breath in. Exhale, fold over, really bend your knees. So really bend your knees, and if you can reach your hands, if you have your straps handy, scarf, you can grab those, all kinds of options. And we're gonna feel, as you stretch forward, maybe lift your sitting bones up and kind of shimmy on down so you're more onto the bony part on your bum. And then leaning forward with your chest. Spine is still long, and your lower back should feel a wonderful release here. Really bend those knees, not locking out your knees. This is really all, yes, you're feeling your hamstrings, but also that lower back. The more you bend your knees, the more you'll feel your lower back release. Maybe you can continue to sink your chest farther down. Big breath in. Open up, exhale. One more, just like that. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Good. All right, if you have a strap, let's sit on up. Walk yourself up just gently. All right, and the other side. So I know this side for me is my side. It doesn't always work as well. So however that looks, if you can tuck your leg, if you can't, bring it on up. Keep that foot flexed. Again, protects the knee. And you can play around with the bend in the other leg. And the leg here can actually support and help you press in and get more of a stretch and kind of like use your own body to assist yourself. So here again, if you want to move around. If your body wants stillness. I'm feeling like pretty good, like right over in here. Release it down. Let's bring our soles of our feet together. Oh, crackle, crackle. Sitting up nice and tall. And just drop your knees. Allow your knees to drop down towards the mat. Compress the soles of your feet together. And then sit up nice and tall. Draw your shoulders down and back. Belly pulls in. Let's bring your right leg long, and your left leg long and wide. Just straddle. Yeah, nice and tall. Let's walk forward. So you may be here, and that's fine. What we want to try to do is keep our spine long. We're not going to curl over our spine. It's not about how far out we can reach. It is the lengthening of the spine. So nice and tall with your spine, shoulders drop down, and then walk forward. Keep your feet flexed. You need to bend your knees a little bit. So you may be up nice and tall here. You may be able to walk forward. It's going to look different for everybody. And let's go ahead and walk on up, back to tall. And then we're going to walk on over to the right. If you have your straps, you can use your straps. A scarf, a towel. Big breaths in, big exhale. Release your strap if you've got it. Sit on up and then over to the left. So you should be feeling maybe in your side body, maybe that lower back. And again, listening to your body. We're not about, you know, who can touch their nose to their anythings here. Just listening and respecting your body. Inhale, lift on up. We're going to be doing our pose. I always forget the name of lizard lunge. Lizard lunge. This one's, it's kind of challenging, but it's really fantastic for those hips. So just do what you can do in it, and I'm going to walk you through it. So come on over onto table. I'm going to start out on the left side just so you'll get a better view. We're going to step our left foot towards our left hand. So our hands, our shoulders are stacked over our wrists, just as we would in table. Our back leg, you're going to come onto that back leg just to the front of your knee. And you're going to take the outside of your left arm, press it onto the inside of your left leg. So you're pushing your leg against your arm against your leg. We're going to just start out here for now. And your foot is forward right at the moment. And lean on in forward. So you're going to feel an opening on the inside of your right hip. Yeah, nodding. Yeah, is that what you're feeling? Yeah. All right, now keep pressing that left arm into the left leg into your left arm. And you're going to kind of feel like you're dragging that right leg behind you, like you're going to drag it forward and you're still pressing on in. Now keep your spine long and your head's reaching forward. And now what we're going to do with that left foot is we're going to turn it at about a 45-degree angle. And you're going to dip it on down so you're now resting your leg on your pinky side of your foot. So this left hip is going to be opening. Yeah, you're all looking good. You got it? Yeah. All right, so for some of you, this might be challenging enough, and you're like, geez, Sam, this is great. For others of you, if you have a block, you have an option here. You can bring your forearms down to the block or the book. Or some of you may even be able to go all the way down to your forearms. And if you're like, what are you, crazy? No, that's not happening, then that's fine. Just come on back to your hands. And if doing even this is too much and you want to go way back to the beginning and put your foot back on the floor and just press your arm into your foot and your foot into your shin, then that's an option too. All right, so if you are down on your forearms or on a block, come on back up. Press that foot back on down into the ground and then bring it on back. Sink back, let's take child's pose. Kind of notice here if your heart rate seemed to go up a little, your breathing quicken. All right, inhale back on up into table. And other side. So right foot's going to come right to the outside, your right pinky. And just to forward of that left knee. And the neighbor's dogs are out, so Otis is going to be barking out there. All right, so right arm, our foot is forward right now. That right foot's forward.
right outer arm presses into the inside of your leg, and they press back into one another. So first we're going to kind of create that scissoring action with our legs, like you're dragging that that back leg forward. And try to pull those shoulders back, keep that space between your neck, your ears. Okay, nods, we're all doing good over there, yeah? All right, so now we're going to lift that foot about 45 degrees and then just drop it on down onto the pinky side, opening up that hip. Keep your breath going. And then again, maybe you can go on down onto the block or onto your forearms. And keep dropping that knee, keep that foot flexed, and keep dropping that knee down towards the ground. Ella, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. No. All right, let go of the block. Oh, Leo, you want a down dog? We're going to do down dog with Ella. Up dog. Good girl. Okay. Arms around. Go ahead, sing back, take child's pose. Dog on the run, dog on the run. Inhale, lift on up, back to table. And yeah, let's do our down dogs here. Curl your toes under, lift your hips on up. And so however you landed, you're just not stuck there. So if you want to walk your feet around a little, move your hands so that I like to even have my pinkies out the outside edges of the mat. Opens up your shoulders. Hips, your feet should be about hips width apart. Keep a bend in your knees, never locking any of your joints. Belly pulls in and your hips should lift up higher. Shoulders draw down your spine, separating space between your ears. Step your right foot to your right hand, the back of your right hand, the left foot to the back of your left hand. And then we're going to sink on down. And we're going to take Malasana, our deep squat. So this is what we should be looking like. Right here, hands comes to prayer, elbows pressing onto the insides of our thighs. Our toes should be in line with our knees. Nice long spine. And so your neck is an extension of your spine, so you want to keep your neck nice and long too. Keep dropping that tailbone down. You can bring your hands on down, and we're going to just slowly bring ourselves on up to standing, but we're not going to lift on up. We're going to just lift our bum up, leave your head hanging down, and then heel toe your feet on in so their hips width apart, and let yourself hang heavy. So your head will hang. Generously bend your knees, especially if you're having lower back issues. Bending your knees will help with that. If you can get your hands onto the floor by bending your knees, that will help with that. And then maybe just shake your head out here. Let your head go. Make some circles and then let it just naturally stop on its own. Like those bobblehead dolls. Maybe slowly you can lift your sitting bones on up to the ceiling and let your head drop even farther down. And now slowly, one vertebrae at a time, come on up to standing. Really slow. And we're vertical. Oh, I'm kind of like falling off the things over there. Okay. All right. Hands can come to prayer. Let's kind of find our grounding here. So our feet will root down into the mat. Close your eyes. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. All right, so let's hop to the backs of our mat. We'll go into some warriors. I like our warriors. All right, so the backs of our mat, clothing adjustment. Right foot forward, nice big wide stance. Let's bring both hips forward. So we're gonna take crescent warrior. Both feet are forward like we're on train tracks. Or there were hips width apart, and a bend to both knees. Good. Arms reach on up, shoulders sink into our sockets, belly pulls in. Now check with your hips here. Hips should be square, both facing 12 o'clock straight in front of you. Really come on up onto your back toes. So your heel is lifted. See if you can get your heel to step over your toe ball mounds. And then press equally into both feet. All right, we'll bring our hands on down, and then we're going to change sides. So however gracefully you want to do that. Both legs, left leg forward. And again, you can play around with how wide you want to make that stance. So just because you said, whoops, that's where my foot landed, you're not stuck. Just change it. Hips are square. And arms come up, shoulders sink in, gaze straight ahead. Maybe you can sink a little lower in those legs. Right up onto the back toe ball mounds of your right foot, that back foot. All right, release your arms down. Let's step our feet together. And we're going to just stand tall in mountain here, build our mountain. Feet rooting down. Get those feet good and grounded on the earth. Hips, neutral. Belly pulls in. Lift your arms on up. And then just bend your knees, sink on down into chair. See if you can lift up all 10 toes off the mat, so you're not gripping onto the mat with your toes. Breathe. Your drishti, your gaze is right forward, straight ahead, horizon or above. Spread your fingers wide. Let's bring our hands to prayer. We're going to sink even lower. And you're going to bring your feet so that your feet come together, your knees are together. We're going to take the outside of our left elbow and bring it to the outside of our right knee. So hands in prayer, like a little twisting prayer. So really sink your bum on down. You're going to feel your quads. Check your knees out. You want to get your knees in alignment. So if you put your knees together, that's actually telling the story of what your hips are doing. So that means you know your hips are square. Press your hands into one another, and we're just twisting over to that right.
Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Notice, are your toes grabbing onto the mat again? Pull your belly in. Inhale. Twist back forward to center. Inhale, stand on up. Take a big breath in. Open on up, fill up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Separate your feet. Close your eyes. And notice what just happened there. Maybe your heart, if you press your thumb knuckles on into your chest. Feel your heart beating, your breath quickened. Notice what's coming up about, oh my gosh, do we have to do this on the other side? Of course. Of course we do. All right. Eyes open up. Bring our arms on down by our side. Check in. Build your mountain from the ground on up, rooting down your feet. Toes are lifted. Fan them out, nice and wide toes. Legs hug in. Shoulders drop down. Arms lift up, breath in. Exhale, sink on down, back into chair. Bring your hands to prayer. Keep sinking down into chair even farther. Outside of your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Again, you can bring your knees together, bring your toes together, and then check your knees that they're lined up, and that'll tell you your hips are lined up. Really press your palms into one another. Big breaths in. Big exhales out. Really take nice full breaths. Next, inhale, belly pulls in, twist back to center, and now let's just let yourself hang forward. So release all of that. Knees are bent. And just like earlier, we're in ragdoll, we're going to stand on up one vertebrae at a time. Bring those hands to prayer, eyes closed down. Deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. All right, how are we looking on time? Whew, holy moly. All right, let's hit the mats again. That was pretty good. Okay. Get yourself uncomfortable. Legs long, I'm thinking here. See, this is where I want you all to shout at me and say, hey, Sam. Okay, go ahead. Lay on down all the way to your back. Bring your knees on in to your bum. Lift your hips on up and then sink back down. So that'll straighten out your spine just a little bit there. Arms come down by your sides, palms face down. Feet are pressed down into the mat. Your hips width apart. And we're going to lift our hips on up to the ceiling into bridge by pressing our feet into the mat. Hips lift up. So if you're really squeezing your glutes right here, kind of release those a little bit and just keep pressing your feet further into the mat. You want to keep your head at neutral. You don't want to look side to side here. So I know if you're trying to like watch the video, it's tempting to want to look on over. Keep pulling your belly in. Bring your arms up overhead. Inhale. Sweep them all the way overhead. And then on your exhale, bring your arms all the way down by your sides and lower yourself down to the ground. Nice and slow. Perfect. All right, soles of your feet come together, or Supta Baddha Konasana.
Legs spread wide, knees drop down. Bring one hand to your lower belly, one hand to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. Great. Arms down by your sides, legs stretch long. Bend your right knee, bring your right knee on in to your thigh. And if your lower back's cranky here still, you can bend your left leg too. And just bring that knee right on in. Massage your lower, your hip here, rolling it around. And then we're going to bend that right knee a little more. We're going to grab the outside of our right foot. Bring your elbow, the inside of your elbow to that. We're taking half a happy baby. If that left knee is bent, it's probably a good thing here. Help your back. You can put your hand to rest just on your hip, that left hand. And then relax your shoulders down. Keep dropping that right knee down to the outside of your body. And then you can press your foot on up to the ceiling. Pull your hand into your foot into your hand. Give yourself a little resistance here. Another nice, beautiful hip opener. So option if you want to grab and hook your big toe with your 2 peace fingers and then maybe extend your leg out a little bit, drop it on down. You can stay in a half a happy baby. Bring it on in, stretch your leg long. Bring your left leg on in, same thing. You can hug it, move that left hip. Slight bend to your right knee so your foot's just resting on the mat. And then take half a happy baby on the left side. So grabbing the outside of your left foot, the inside of your elbow comes on in, and that right hand can just rest on your right hip. Pay attention to your shoulders here too, so your shoulders are relaxed down onto the mat. Maybe here your eyes are closed. And just notice if your eyes are closed, if your mind's wandering. Just really feel that sensation right now in your left hip. Connect your breath with that sensation. Continue to relax and soften where you can, your face, your shoulders. Maybe that option of the 2 peace fingers onto that big toe, stretching that left leg. Bring your leg back in. Stretch your leg long, both legs long, arms overhead, big full body stretch, breath in. Belly pulls in. Exhale, bring both knees on into your belly, arms hug them in. And then give yourself one more final massage of that lower back. Several options here. You can cross your ankles. You can put hands on your knees and just roll it on out to assist yourself one way, the other. So whatever feels good. And then drop your feet on down again by your knees are bent. And walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat. Your knees can collapse in towards one another. Arms come down by your sides, palms face up. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. And at this point, you can do whatever else you feel you need to do. You can lay here for Shavasana. You can spread your legs long. And give yourself anywhere 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I don't know, a half hour, whatever you need.
enjoy your day.